So there are many times in our lives when we find ourselves at a crossroads, looking for purpose and direction, asking ourselves where now and what next. But actually, with the passing of time, we begin to realize that these weren't crossroads, they were turning points. When it was as if life itself came and knocked on our door to remind us, hey, there is a work that you're meant to do and you're not doing it. And these turning points are really a chance for us to realign ourselves with who we are and what matters most to us in life. And I've discovered with the people that I've worked with that there are some 7 different turning points in life which, while are all age-related, many of us will experience them at any time in our life or not at all. And here they are. There are 7 turning points. And the first is 21 to 28, when we're transitioning from adolescence into adulthood. We're trying to break free from mum and dad. We're discovering who we are and what we believe. And we're trying to find our life's purpose and direction, asking ourselves, what is the work that I'm really meant to do? And maybe we find out what that work is, but whether we do or whether we don't, a little bit later on when we're kind of 29 to 35 and we've been working for sometimes as much as 10, 12 or more years, there is often this sense of awakening in us that this isn't what I thought it was going to be. When I sat there in the careers officer's office, they told me that work was going to be brilliant. It was going to be creative. It was going to be this vehicle that gave me everything that I want. And often we find that actually it's not. We find ourselves doing work we don't want to do and for reasons that don't motivate us. And before long we fall into that trap of hanging our soul on the door on a Monday morning and living for Friday when we can truly be who we are and express ourselves in the way that we're meant to do. And if we survive that, we then begin to hit another turning point, which is kind of 36 to 42, that late 30s. We've been working for 15 plus years. Maybe we've got a family now and we've got kids. And life is this continual balancing act, this struggle of spinning the plates of work and life and relationships and community. And often we feel that we're just one plate away from the whole thing coming crashing down around us. When we left college, all we wanted was a job. And now we realize we want a career. We want to be able to balance our work and our life. And we begin to ask the question, am I really focusing my time on that which matters most to me? So the 4th turning point in life, and often the most difficult, is 43 to 49, the mid-40s, when we're also halfway through our working life and halfway through our actual life. And there is often this growing realization that the first 20 years of our work haven't given us what we wanted. We feel this disconnect. We're not happy. We're not achieving the success we want to achieve. And we worry, will the next 20 years actually be any different? And there's often this growing fear that it won't. And then we worry, can we change? Is it too late? Do I need to go back to college? Have I got the right skills? Am I too old? Am I just kidding myself? And often we feel choked, we feel so trapped and we don't know where to go. And what we realize is that we want an all-encompassing life. But we make it through and we then begin to hit our early 50s. We hit that 5th transition point of 50 to 56, where maybe we've achieved a level of success, but we're in the workplace and often on a Thursday or a Friday we have a retirement ceremony. Joe at the other end of the office is retiring And this guy that was so powerful and dominated the whole of the office, by Tuesday next week, people are like, Joe who? And we begin to think, what about me? Will I be remembered? What will people remember me for? What's my legacy? What have I given to the world? And there's this growing awareness in us that I've been successful, but have I been significant? Have I actually done the work that I'm meant to do? And then we reach the kind of sixth turning point in life, which is late 50s, 57 to 62, where we've reached the end of our working life. And we begin to transition into what people call the third stage of life, that sense of retirement. And we've had plans, and we're looking forward to playing golf or traveling, spending time with the kids. But often what happens is our kids are at university and they're moving on into their careers, and they've got dreams. There are things they want to do, goals they want to achieve. And it reminds us of 30, 40 years ago when we were in the same place. And often for many of us comes this deep sense of regret. There were these things that I was going to do, but instead of following my heart, I followed my head. I listened to my parents. I listened to other people telling me, no, this is a far more sensible route to take. And as we look at those younger people around us following their hearts, following their dreams, we can often be plagued with this sense of regret. If only I had done something else. But we need to realize it's never too late to begin to do that which we're meant to do. The seventh turning point can happen at any age, and I call this crisis. We're busy going along on the wheel of life. We're doing the work we want to do. Maybe we even enjoy it and really get something out of it. And life is going along, and then suddenly something happens to knock us off this wheel. Maybe it's redundancy, or it's sickness, or an accident, or occasionally relational breakdown. And we find ourselves kind of the wind knocked out of us, and we lose confidence, and we question who we are, and it becomes a real difficult place, and we begin to wonder, can we ever get back on this wheel? And often when we do get back on it, we've lost momentum. We've lost the place where we were, and something's missing. And it's at this point we have to really tune in again. Who am I? What's most important to me? What is the work that I'm meant to do? And begin to reimagine it from a new place, and begin to move from that place spectacularly. Often when we find ourselves at one of these turning points, we often feel overwhelmed with doubts, and we struggle with negative emotions, with disappointment, with discouragement and disillusionment. And we start off being disappointed with ourselves. We question the choices we've made, and we begin to judge ourselves. And when we do that, we begin to question our identity and our value. And when we do that, we begin to think we're not worthy of success and finding the work that we're meant to do. And when we feel disappointed in ourselves, often we then move into discouragement. And the root of that word is courage. And what happens is we lose heart. We begin to lose the will to get back into the battle. We begin to think, what's the point? What's the point of me getting back out and putting myself out there? It's not going to work. But who says that? How do you know it won't work? And if we get through disappointment and discouragement, often we struggle with disillusionment. And disillusionment means we've lost sight of our dream. We've lost sight of who we are and where we want to go in life. And we take our eyes off our dream and we begin to put our eyes on what we believe is possible. We settle for less. We settle for what will pay the bills. We settle for what is just enough. But ultimately, we know that it's not enough. And when we're at these difficult points, I think there are 7 key things we need to know about ourselves, about how the world works, and about the work we're meant to do. And if we really get a hold of these, we will find the energy to get right back up, get back in there, and be twice as effective as we were before. And the first thing we need to know is that we are not a mistake. There's nothing wrong with us. We have just got off track. There is still a work that we are meant to do, and life wants us to succeed at it. The second thing we need to realize is that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We need to stop judging our success and our abilities by the other people that surround us. We need to realize we are truly unique. We are a one-off masterpiece. And the secret to success is to be true to ourselves and don't worry about what other people are doing. The third thing we need to recognize is there is something that only you can do. You have a talent, a gift that's so profound in its expression that nobody else can do what you can do. Be true to yourself. Don't worry about what you should do. Get more in tune with why you want to do it. It doesn't matter what you do. It's why you want to do it that truly matters. The fourth thing we need to understand is that the world has need of us. No matter how unusual your talent, no matter how random, no matter how insignificant you think it is, somebody somewhere is crying out for that which only you can do. And if you don't do it, it isn't going to get done. With all the people I've worked with, all the people that I've spoken with, every single one has found a way to express their passion in the world and make a decent living from it. Number 5 is that your past doesn't equal your future. I've spent so much of my life plagued with this guilt and remorse. If only I'd made better decisions. If only I'd gone to a different college. If only I'd done a different degree. If only I'd taken this career path and not that. You know what? I can't change one bit of it. But actually, if I look at that, even in those mistakes, that has shaped who I am today. And what got you here is not what's going to get you to where you want to be. Your past doesn't equal your future. No matter how difficult your past has been, your future is always what it is you want it to be. So get clear on who you truly want to be and the work you want to do, and go for it. Number 6 is this sense that what you focus on with feeling, you move towards. If you focus on your doubt, if you focus on your confusion, if you begin to think every day, this isn't going to work, that's going to become more real for you. That will become your reality. But the more you begin to say, you know what, this is my dream, and I believe that it's possible for me. I believe that I deserve it. And you begin to look out there on the net and see other people who, maybe in a more difficult situation, they had less than you. Man, they're achieving it. And we begin to focus on what it is we want and begin to take steps in that direction. Our path begins to open up for us. And lastly, the thing that we need to realize is that fortune does favor the brave. When we know what it is we want, we have our dream, and we begin to realize this is the work that I'm meant to do. We don't need to wait until the phone rings. until a recruiter calls us up, until we get headhunted. We can begin to engage with that today. We can take little steps. We can say to ourselves, what can I do today with what I've got? Maybe I could start a blog. I could start a coaching call. I run a workshop. I could create a little product. It doesn't really matter. But I've discovered when you get clear on what it is you want to do and take action towards it, it's like the whole universe gets behind you and backs you. So I guess my challenge to all of us is to think through, what is the work that I want to do? Fred Buchner, in his amazing book called Wishful Thinking, said, where your deepest joy meets with the world's greatest need, there you find your purpose. So what is it you enjoy? What do you look forward to? What fills you with joy? And how can you take that and offer it to the world? Find a need, meet it, find a problem, solve it. Whatever your hand finds to do, just go for it.